Check, check, 1, 2, let's go. Woo, woo, woo. What's poppin', y'all? How y'all feeling? We are alive. We are here. I feel like it's been a minute. And, you know, just like every other time, there's so much going on. There's so much happening in this world. And I'm just learning how to have a good time. I'm just learning how to live my best life every day. It's like each day is a new opportunity to figure out how to live better, how to live freer, you know? And I used to always, when I was funny 'cause when I was going through my separation with my wife, um, I've written something called Live Free. Just to be open, to be free, to just allow everything to just be what it is and live your just happiest, best life. And um, you know, and now that's like all I try to do. Actually, I wonder if I can even find that. And the more I try to do that, the more, obviously saying free and liberating and stuff like that is what it becomes. But it's like you truly start to release because it's a lot of the times we're living in these mental prisons where we're just caught up by the thoughts, by the past, by worries, by regret, by, you know, um, visualizing things and making things up. And we just, all of a sudden, everything feels bad because it's so easy to think negatively. And all we got to do is really just practice to, live the other way. Um, oh, wow, I wrote something else called Free to Be Me. And I think that's really, again, like that's just, I think what life is really, it's about trying to live free and be the best you can be, like the best version of who you are. Embrace all that you are, all that you know, can be, love, and all of that. But before we really jump into everything, we're here to, like I said, celebrate, us and being free and being open and being the best versions of we can be. Um, we're going to talk about everything from living life and the approach, health and fitness and emotions and all of that. We're going to talk sports, music, just lifestyle in general, travel, uh, I mean, get back into surfing, getting into golf. We're gonna be doing a lot. And so if y'all feel what we're doing, you can relate to these stories and what we're talking about here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notifications. Throw us some likes, throw us some comments, do all that good stuff. You know how to do it. Let's get this algorithm going because this is a 9 year. That's something I've really embraced these past couple of weeks while I've been, just kind of like recalibrating, adjusting, because some big changes. And I think I talked about this, or I don't know if I talked about it, but it was about to happen. But I put Fly Private Social on pause, and I did that for a few reasons. The main reason is because the location that we had it was pretty expensive, and in order for us to really be able to pay that rent, you have to turn the tables constantly. You got to get people eating. In restaurants, it's called a turn, right? Every time you turn the tables, so every time you get a new seating, a new group of people in, and we need to do that like 2.5 times a night. And plus, started getting noise complaints and a few other things, and it just became a little bit difficult for us to operate the way we needed to operate. And I'd given myself an ultimatum because the liquor license needed to be solidified by the middle of this month, really by the end of this week. And knowing what I've learned about how to make the money, enough money, we needed one more space or one more floor in addition to be able to play music so we could actually have members lounge and chill, like a mix of a work and kind of hang out, not necessarily a bar because we had another floor for that. Not necessarily we play music 'cause that's be at the bar, but just enough space to chill. And so an opportunity to put everybody, including myself, including the owner, including another business, into a great situation. And it happened literally in like 7 to 10 days. And while this was going on, I'm also trying to figure out what, I'm trying to do. And there's been something nagging at me. So I had this fibroma in my back. I had it taken out, I think like 10 years ago, but it's still like tight and still digs in. And I'm pretty sure I've told this story before, but long story short, when they pulled it out, it said it looked like a golf tee. But then it also never kind of fully went away. I've had MRIs, ultrasounds, all of that, X-rays, and nothing comes up. The guess, the assumption is it's scar tissue and it just needs time to heal. So I've done massage, I've done heat therapy, I've done fascia massages. Um, Still nothing works. Oh yeah, I think I did talk about this. So when I did my fast, I sat there and what popped into my head was that I'm not living free. I'm not being me. I'm not using my voice and being creative and, um, sharing that way is something I've always done. And I haven't been doing that lately. And so what I was trying to figure out was how do I create like this universe? How do we create a brand out of the brand Hawaii Mike? And I feel like that's where this new attention economy is going. I feel like that's where um, the opportunities are is to be the brand is because a lot of the times, you want to get these either companies that are big that are influential, like say a Nike, or you get influencers that are big to influence their products, right? But the trend I'm starting to see is that more people are looking for people that they can relate directly to, people that feels like they know or you know want to emulate or be inspired by, and it feels more attainable than the people that are way up in the top 2-3%. And I've always been somebody that has just been lucky enough or been put in the right positions or right places to just live life and get paid for the things that I love, right? Always loved music, especially hip hop. Always loved cannabis. Those two things got me to New York and a career started here. Always loved sneakers and fashion and dressing up. That got me to become the lifestyle editor at the Source magazine with no experience. Um, So there's a lot of, thinking for me. It was like, well, how do I take all of these things that I'm passionate about, all these things that I love? And if I started to step back, that's how most of my companies were started. Chef for hire. When legalization happened, everybody was like, yo, what are you going to do? You got to get into the cannabis space. Chef for hire was born. Food became my alchemy and a language for me to be able to share the benefits for us humans and cannabinoids. Um, then I was dealing with some mental health stuff, and I fell into a little bout of depression when I came out of that and wanted to talk about it, and that's how Mask Off with Hawaii Mike was started. um Fly Private Social, you know the idea of celebrating hip hop with intention, celebrating unity with intention. Now all of a sudden there's this whole concept with the social club that's been working. And then it was like, well, what ties it all together? Well, it's like, oh, well, shit, it's Hawaii Mike ties it all together, right? It's me. I'm the guy. And so, how do I make myself a brand and a channel and talk about all the things that I love? And that's how the YouTube channel was started. Then I had an incredible meeting with a friend that I was just going to catch up with, somebody I used to work with, and started talking about, creating content. And we just started riffing, and it just felt so natural of a flow. And this person was like, yo, so everybody's selling stuff. It's collectors. Like he was in the trading card business and collectibles business as well. Sold a company in that space, did pretty well for himself. And he was like, one, they're curious about the creators themselves, also what they collect and why and all these things. And so now there's these new apps and platforms like whatnot that you can actually sell things and collections. And so he was like, yo, let's bring LTD back. Let's make LTD all about the products. We can create pop-up experiences, all of this. And I don't know why I didn't think about that. I was just thinking about it as like paying homage to it and celebrating it in that sense. But I didn't think about bringing it back. And you know, it was interesting to me because again, I'm all about numbers, and we're in a transformational 9 year. So nines are about completions as well as new beginnings. So it's like ending something, putting something to bed, and starting something new. And the building he's in is 333, which is nine. And so again, just to reiterate this story, to say, one, we have to talk positive. You got to put the things that you want out there. Write them down, say them out loud. Affirmations is very similar to this, but it's really just manifesting what you want, right? And the more you say it, the more it starts to resonate. The more it starts to resonate, the more it feels like it's happening. The more it feels like it's happening, that's manifestation. And it starts to just be real. And this exercise, it again, with our judgmental minds, is something that when you start, you're like, oh, this is silly. Why am I doing this? But you're already doing it for things that aren't necessarily serving you or helping you to grow. And that's the trick of it, is we're already doing the things. We're just doing them for the quote unquote, well, maybe not even quote unquote, for the wrong reason. Or we're doing it unconsciously, not even knowing we're doing it and how to do it. Once you step back from that, you can really start to figure that out, because at the end of the day, that really just creates our reality, man. You know? And that reality is real to us, right? So no matter what we think is happening or what is actually happening, as long as we think it, that's what's going to feel real to us. And so the more we think about the positive things, the more we start to even say affirmations. Like I actually just started doing, I'm testing this 21-day affirmation thing out, where you do 9 affirmations, you say them out loud 3 times a day for 1 week, and then you keep going. So I want to switch this up and see if that works and really start putting those things out there, because that's what I did with this whole vibe about content. Is I asked the questions to self, listened, I said the things that I want, and now they're starting to happen. I got invited out to places. I'm starting to get calls from people I haven't heard from. I got a text message from the CEO of a huge media network out the blue, inviting me to one of their events. Just got invited a couple others. So now it's like, all right, cool, there's rhythm. And then it's like, well, how do we have fun with this? How do we let it go and not be so rigid? And that's what I'm working through now, is trying to find that zone of comfortability. And that's why I do these lives, even though shit, might have one person on here, might have 20 people on here sometimes. But I'm doing these to practice and get it myself to a space of comfortability. And sometimes when you do these things and you're talking out loud, at least for me, I watch them back, I hear something or I see something or I said something. And I'm like, oh, that. And then you build on that. So that's all this is about, is creating a world. And saying that is also how we should be approaching and living life. Just constantly trying new things, right? Obviously, we stated the things that work. You got a job. You don't want to just keep trying different jobs and moving around, but you do want to challenge yourself. Um, that's how we grow, you know? And don't run away from the problems or adversity or be scared of any kind of challenges, because when you go through them, that's how you again, you grow, you evolve, you get better. If you're constantly hiding from those, from confrontation, um, from challenges or anything, like you just want life to be easy, that's when you become stagnant. That's when you start to die. And we need the consistency. You need to consistently challenge yourself and be ready because that's how you stay prepared. That's the muscle memory, right? You wasn't with me when I was shooting in the gym. Like you gotta be in there taking your shots constantly. Get that rhythm. So when it's right in front of you and you have no time to respond, that muscle memory kicks in and you're good. And so that's what this is about is constantly practicing, constantly beating up. Like, so I went the other part that worked really well, and I think I said this right before I left, was I went on a surf trip. And literally the day I left, I was supposed to be meeting the owners and the new tenants and going down there and I'm getting texts like, oh, you have to pay rent. They're not going to pay the rent. And next thing you know, the rent paid. And it just worked out. Went on an incredible trip. Um, Made a stop in Virginia Beach. And, you know, had a blast out there. Wait, let me see. Can I even pull this up? I wonder if I could pull this up. Hold on. So y'all can laugh with me. So went out to Virginia Beach and stopped a at the Atlantic Atlantic Park. Yeah, I think it's Atlantic Park Surf or something like that. Anyways, it's Pharrell's. He's a partner in it or whatever. He's a and so I went down there to check it out, and yo, this shit was so dope, like so dope. I had a fucking blast. Um, and it just gave me some other ideas about creating content, right? We always have these ideas or thoughts in our head of trying something new, a hobby, a sport, something. And um, I think sharing those things with people is fun. And one of the things I've loved to do, and I haven't been doing a lot, is surfing. And now getting to be able to share that was an idea that came up because like, yo, what if I start working back to being 50 years old and getting into surfing shape? What if, we picked out different destinations or even before that, picked out a bunch of different surf parks and go to these wave pools around the country and around the world, maybe even try to take some people sometimes do surf lessons and things like that. But again, just creating content that's fun, that's engaging, that's, interesting too, that hopefully also motivates people get out of our comfort zone to chase the things that make them feel good in here, not chase the things that are temporary out there. And for me, surfing was one of those things. I'm a triple water sign. I've never not lived near the water. Um, and damn it, I don't know if I can do this. I think I got to set up to a different browser. But I've never not lived near the water. And it is, something that has always been in my mind and I've been lucky enough to do. Um, but something that feels like I not have to do, but makes me feel that much better is to be near water. Surfing is my way of, that's like playing a sport in the water. And the thing that's beautiful about surfing is you're literally moving with the speed, with the flow of nature. It's different. Like people want to say snowboarding is kind of close to it because you're on a board and you're standing sideways. It is the snow moves on the mountains, but the mountains don't move. You understand? Like it's a little bit different. Um, and there's so many variables to it. Like not one wave is ever the same. Ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. Just like us. None of them are the same. And there's just such an interesting challenge to it. One versus nature, you know? And it is so unpredictable. It is so challenging. It takes so many different motor skills, you know, um, from your core strength just to be able to lay on the board, your coordination to be able to lay on the board and paddle. Now, the bigger your board is, the easier it is, but you on a small board, shit ain't that easy. Uh, Sitting up on the board isn't that easy. Finding your balance in the middle of that, finding your space just on the board, front, back, where am I at position wise? Um, Positioning yourself, understanding where the breaks are, where the waves are forming, how to position yourself in a crowded space. Man, paddling into the wave. What is the positioning, the timing? Which way am I dropping in? Which way am I looking? Like, so just like a motorcycle, if y'all ever rode a motorcycle, when you turn on a motorcycle, you look through the turn. When you get up and you're pushing yourself up on the wave on a board, you're looking where you want to go. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many different things that go in. Then there's your breath control, your physique, learning how to duck dive and go under the waves. There's so much to it. And if you're not doing it all the time, your mental gets out of shape, your physical gets out of shape, and it's exhausting. Like you literally are burning like 10 calories a minute, right? And that's not even when you're just that's like regular is you're burning that much. If it's a high intensity day, you're really out there, you gotta paddle a lot, you're burning more. So it's an incredible workout. Um And so, but as you get older, you gotta change your board size. You gotta figure out what your stamina is looking like, and can you go into bigger waves or whatnot. And I'm not a huge big wave guy. I'm like a 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot is big enough, way big enough for me. 8 foot is huge. Like, you know what I'm saying? And especially if you're talking about Hawaii, like 8 foot in Hawaii is 24 foot face, which is crazy. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like an 8 foot face. And when you're laying on a board and you're looking up at that water and that water is crashing, it's a lot. So it also gets you in an emotional space, right? Because you have to be alert. It's super challenging. It's dangerous. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. You could get hit by a board. You get hit by other surfers. You could get pulled under the water. You could get caught under the water if you're surfing a reef. There's just so much to it. And I know it sounds like a lot and it sounds like scary, but for a lot of us, those are the things that are exhilarating. Those are the things that are fun, those kinds of challenges, right? And so wherever you want to be and wherever you want to go, I want to show people what that love is like and what that feeling is like, and getting to stand on those waves. Like I remember I took rest in peace, I took Black Rob surfing in Hawaii during the Pro Bowl in like 2000. And man, he was so excited to stand up. Like he had never been near a surfboard coming from Harlem. Like that's just not what he was seeing. You know what I'm saying? This was like I said, 99 to 2000. So it's not like, action sports were big in hip hop yet in our culture. That happened a little bit later. And so to see him so excited about it and get up and just, bro, it was so dope. And I want other people to experience that. And how can we share those things with people, right? Because the more we can share these things, common interests and all, like the more we connect. And that's what we gotta do in this day and age, is connect with each other on a real heart level, real frequency of just love. And man, because even like in the water, I'll talk to people I never thought I would be talking to because we have a common interest and it's an automatic connection right there, you know? And again, like the divide and rule is so strong in the world right now that we forget we're all human. We forget we're all one race. We're so scared, we're so anxious, we're so worried about what's going to happen next. All we're doing is clamoring for our safety. But yet, there's so many of us in that same boat. We all think we're in our own boats. Or there's only one boat. There's only enough boat for me and not enough boat for them. But if you open your heart, you open your arms, you'll start to see it's enough for all of us, and we're supposed to be building these boats together. Things like surfing bring people together in that way. Another sport that I saw that's kind of like that, and I really want to get into, and I talked about it a few years ago, is golf, right? And it's an intimidating sport, just like surfing is. It's a challenge to get into it. You got to get your own clubs. You got to, go find the places. You got to, travel to them. It's not a cheap sport, right? But I also want to figure out how to make it not necessarily cheap, but how can we approach it from all levels and angles, you know? So as a brand new person, trying to play golf, I want to share that story and show it, and then end up in some places. I crashed the Hype Beast, um, the Hype Golf Classic last month, with my fam from Techniques, and and that shit was dope. And getting to see everybody out there all fly. I think I spoke about it a little bit, but it's there, And I see all my friends doing. So many of my friends are playing golf now. Not that I feel left out by any means. It's not that. It's that it interests me and it's intriguing, and I want to try it, and I think I could be good at it. And again, I like the challenges of sports that are like one on one, you know. Um, and that's it. Yep. Yeah, see, I gotta try that, JT. I gotta try on some shroomies. But yeah, I think even grounding, man, because you're on beautifully uh like beautiful grass and lawns and everything's manicured all nice, and you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure it's probably not um loved by everybody, but oh, so yeah, yes, I was to say, take my shoes off and be there. Um, and so that's what I'm working on. Also, I think a journey of somebody going to play golf and then getting to play with some interesting people as well and having those conversations, right? Um, and also I think that's what it is too. It's kind of like mixing it up, Like I know a lot of people that we look up to that are celebrities or athletes or whatnot, but it's also like we're all common people and have these common things. So it's like why not have quote unquote regular people too, and introduce them and bring people into spaces, So those are some of the things I've been thinking about. And it's just exciting, man, to feel like I can just be myself again. And it's not to say again, just more of myself and share more of it and just have I think it's more having fun where I felt like with the restaurant there was so much to operating the business on a day to day that part got a little bit heavy for me. And but again, like one of the affirmations I've been using is I don't fail, I learn. And it's funny because the one thing most people ask is, did you lose money? And I was like, is that how we measure like things? Is it just about the money? There's so much other things in life that have value. Money has a perceived value. Money has a value. We give it and we overvalue it. And I mean, I learned how to get a liquor license. I learned how to operate different POS systems. I learned how to put full menus together. I learned like there's so many different things that I learned that I could never look at it as a failure, even if I lost money. Um, and so, that's another perspective is like, well, what is winning? Is winning comparing yourself to other people by money, by material items, by house, by travel, by this or that? Ah, I don't know. I, I I can't say it is for me. I'm happiest when I'm just me. Like I'm happiest when I'm just chilling, getting to do the things that I love. Um and so yeah, so exposing just, all of that. And the one thing I gotta figure out though, well not one thing, one of the things I have to figure out is I have an LTD magazine YouTube account, but it was pre-Google and I don't know how to get it back. It's just sitting there. And you can't get nobody on the phone from fucking YouTube or anything. So I'm stuck. I gotta figure that out. Because I would love to just use the handle since it's already there. Uh, but worst comes to worst, I've got to create another handle for it. Um, but yeah, so tomorrow I got a meeting and we're gonna start building out the strategy and the forecast and see, what we can make this next year look like. Really, I want to take it to January 2027. So we'll make it like the next 14 months or something like that. But just kind of hash it out. And I think where I really struggle um is consistency. That's discipline and consistency. And if I don't have the framework, it's difficult for me to get things done. A lot of people, praise me or always shout me out, yo, your discipline is crazy or this or that. But I really want y'all to know, like, the challenges of like 75 hard, fasting for Ramadan, things like that, have what given me enough to get myself into the space of better health, physically, mentally, emotionally. But trust me, I am not perfect. I am far from it. Um, I don't do everything exact, and I give myself grace. That's one of the big things because it allows me to have that, to be okay when I don't do everything at the highest level, when I don't do everything every single day. Like, for instance, I went and I went to North Carolina. I didn't do one hit training workout. I didn't even do my kettlebell. I mean, I brought my kettlebell. I didn't even do my exercises with my kettlebell. But what I did do was surf every day and burned more calories surfing than I would have. But because I wasn't doing the same kind of exercises, my body got tight in other ways. And so I don't want us to get discouraged when we're not working out, or when we take a few days off with that, and then the result, not the result, but our body automatically starts to change. Like, if you don't stretch every day, you feel it the next day. If you take a day off, that next day you stretch, you're not gonna be able to stretch as far unless you've been stretching for like 100 years straight, which none of us are. And so I'm saying this to say, don't judge yourself by what you think other people are doing because you really don't know, right? Don't judge yourself with a negative perception of where you should be. Do judge yourself to critique things, to make yourself better, to elevate, to grow, right? Like, that's the video I wanted to show. I wanted to show, surfing, because I was terrible that day, in the park. But now I get to see where I messed up and all of the things that I messed up, from flailing arms to sitting too far back on the board, to being too almost stiff and not just kind of, going with that flow. And that's the thing, right? Our minds are wired for judgment. It's just naturally what we do, but we don't have to judge it with a negative angle towards it and put ourselves down, right? But again, it's all practice. So I just want y'all to say, like, don't look at somebody else, even me. Like, anything anybody else does isn't necessarily going to be perfect for you. Use everybody out there that you're interested in, that inspires you, to inspire you to be on your journey, to be going after the best version of you. Because it's not about what everybody else does, it's about what you do at the end of the day. It's about what works for you. So I may have a regimen that works great for me, but your body type may be different, right? So maybe use the inspiration or be inspired by my dedication to trying to make myself better, but do it your way, right? And again, that's all we should be doing. Is if we do our best for us, for you, that's gonna reflect to others, and they're gonna receive that message. That's all we want, man. Like, that's, to me, that's how we grow, right? Just constantly being curious, constantly learning, constantly building, and it's just that. And again, I say it in these simple words because the words to say it are simple. The actions it takes to be disciplined are much more difficult. But it's about rhythm. Once you get yourself to a rhythm, it starts to be much easier, right? Because look how easy it is to be negative right now. You got a negative rhythm, right? You got a negatively judgmental rhythm. So it's easy to go down that route. And next thing you know, right, you hate yourself. And for what? So, you know, find your rhythm, find what works for you. But you got to start with your passions. You got to start with who you are mentally, physically, where you're at right now, what your setting is. Like, one of the things I need to work on that I really, really need to work on is clutter. Like, I have so much stuff, and there's going to be some content made around me, like cleaning this up and getting it right and getting organized and not just having stuff everywhere just to have it. Um, but it's tough, you know? One of the most difficult things for me is the worry about getting rid of something you may need just in case, right? But if you only need it for one day out of a year, you know, you really need it. That's the thing. Like, that's one of the things I've been struggling with. And then the other part is our brains start to put this weird value on things. Like, even though you haven't used something, like they say, what is it? Like the Clean and Tidy book. I think it's if you haven't wore something in 6 months or a season or two or something, you should get rid of it. Well, I've got shit. I mean, I probably got a solid 40 jackets over here, you know, and I have some that, yeah, I probably wear maybe once a year or maybe not even in a season, but they're brand new, they're pristine. I'm not buying extra stuff either. That's another thing, though, also. I've been very conscious about not buying things either. Um, because I just have too much stuff. I got, like, again, I got stuff people are still like, oh my God, that's crazy. And I'm like, "But I've been wearing this shit for years." And meanwhile, everybody else is running around trying to keep up and buy shit they can't afford, going broke. That's why you see the value of clothes is so low. Like when I go to all these secondhand shops, and you're seeing all these high end fashion pieces for cheap. It's like, yo, and here we are running around trying to just have and accrue as much stuff as we can. And it's tough because it's different if you really want it, if it really makes you feel good. Not meaning it makes me feel good when people give me compliments, meaning it makes me feel good to own these pieces. If nobody ever sees me, takes a picture of me, gives me a compliment, this is how I'm going to look. This is how I'm going to dress. This is what I'm going to wear. That's how you should be doing it. You know what I'm saying? If you can't check all those boxes, do all that, probably shouldn't be rocking it because you're wearing it for somebody else now. And again, all that fulfillment outside of you is temporary. That shit is fleeting. It's going to go away. Serotonin, the love drug, is the only thing that makes us really feel fulfilled like that. And anytime serotonin is released from an outside perspective, I mean, from an outside object, whether it's another person, whether it's a drug, whatever, it's only there till it's gone, right? Like, I love food and I'm eating. As soon as you eat that favorite thing, it's digesting and now it's gone. And now you want it again, right? So the only way really to truly have that fulfillment and feel is the heart, is love. Is to constantly give and live with that open heart. That's why I keep going back to that. Like, these are the things I'm learning and going, wow, well, if it's really love, and I say these things, but again, I haven't fully put them into practice. But saying them and then understanding I'm not putting them into practice, it makes me want to challenge myself to put them in practice. And so, how can I live with love? And you guys have heard me say it before. You saying I love you to somebody, you giving love to another person does more benefit for you than it does for them because a lot of the times they can't even receive it. So you want to be able to receive that love as well. And the more open you are, the more you practice it, the more you're able to do that. But giving the love, opening your heart. And when I'm saying receive the love, I'm saying it from yourself more than anything else, right? Everything else outside of you is icing on the cake, is just a little bit extra. You giving yourself that love, you praising yourself, you having gratitude for the things that are in your life, your faculties, your health, even if you're like not in the greatest health, you're still alive, you're able to work on it. Like, you gotta have gratitude for those things. The gratitude builds up, the negativity breaks down. That's not where we're at right now. We're building. Um, And especially in a time where there's just volatility everywhere, there is challenge everywhere, there's stress everywhere. They're throwing everything they can at us. So don't don't feel alone in that. Don't feel like it's not okay. It is okay because there's so much out there to stress us. Again, that's why we got to find our best selves. We got to do that inner work. We got to just be the best we can be, man. Because to me, that's what combats everything. How can they can't take your joy from you? You can only give it to them, or you don't have it to give, and so you can't take it. You're just in a negative space. Yeah, man. So I'm looking forward to these next couple of months, finishing out this year, seeing what's gonna come up, seeing how we, strategize. I'm also kind of excited to kind of quote unquote get back into the world that I used to be in. You know, I I I can't front. Like there's a part of me that definitely misses being on the pulse, of trends, of style, of just the things. And I think now, because of where I'm at mentally, it won't be as draining as it was because I'm not doing it for other people. I'm doing it for me, you know? And I think that's gonna be a huge difference. So next couple of months, I'm gonna get some traveling. I'm planning a trip. I'm supposed to be going to Cali to do a dinner, to San Francisco. I might go to Complex Con next weekend. Still figuring that out. Supposed to be going to Costa Rica for a trip. And that'll be a mix of chef for hire, Hawaii Mike, plus um, potentially some surfing too. Actually, not potentially. I can't go to Costa Rica and not surf. That's not happening. So I got to get out there and do that. And then really just got to figure out, what it looks like. What is the style of this content? What's the cadence? How often are we doing this? How can we, you know, cross promote and weave everything in as well? Um, and just, again, like I said, have some fun with it, man. Because that is all I am about right now. Is having some fun, sharing that with as many people as I can, and building out spaces, because that fly private social, you know, idea is really just about, you know, creating safe spaces for us. And actually, I found one, this surfer. Damn, what was his name? Jake Alvarez, I think, and Alex Smith. They got this whole thing called Omerta, and then they're doing, they have, what's it called? What do they have? These villas they're building in Bali, which are kind of dope. It's all surf, but then it's all about travel, wellness, health, um, exploration, and collaboration and investment. So it's actually pretty dope. I'm pretty like it's pretty inspiring to see that. So definitely gonna try this. To kind of just figure out what that looks like. Cause all that to say, I was like, I need like a home base. You know what I'm saying? Like we could have like a home base in New York, and then maybe one in Costa Rica, maybe another one, somewhere else, Bali eventually, shit like that, and just be able to do everything from content to retreats to uh, dinners and just all of that. Just have a place where we can all kind of just chill, and I think that would be ideal. So that's another one, and yeah, I think that's about it though, man. About to just get this shit going and figure all this out. I was trying to figure out how to get on show you all these videos, man, but I don't know why it's not coming up. Um, don't see how I signed into this. says as LTD Mag. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this because I do kind of want to share this with y'all. All right. I think I might have got it. Let's see if I can. Wait. Oh, I got one wave up, but where the hell is the rest of them at? Oh, here we go. All right, 1 second, guys. One day I will get this going right. I think I might switch from OBS to what is the other one? Stream something. Because I don't know if I'm technically savvy enough for this OBS shit. It's a lot. Why won't it change? It's not changing, guys. I need like the full tutorial on how to use this shit. Ah, all right. We're gonna have to laugh at me another time. I can't find this shit. Of course. But yeah, man. So I was just gonna keep this one short today. It's just another practice sesh getting on here. JT, I may be heading out to Vegas. I'm gonna hit you up if I am. And yeah, man. That's about it. Oh, forgot. Be making a little merch. Got some logo tees happening, testing out here. You know, see what these joints look like. Got the Hawaii mic joints. What else should we make? Gotta make some hats eventually. We'll make some hoodies. We'll make some things. Don't worry. But all right, man. I appreciate y'all, and I am about to dip out of here. One love. Peace.